Hello guys, welcome, and today it's a pleasure for me to introduce you to our guest today. It's Kevin Harstem the Koning from the Netherlands, and I'm pretty sure everybody listening into this will know who he is. So Kevin, welcome to you today.
Thank you, Benjamin. It's a pleasure to get interviewed by you. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. So, Kevin, the year is nearly done, and I think, like I said, everybody listening into this knows that you play StarCraft, that you are doing it as a professional. But maybe could you give us just a small update? Where are you at the moment? Are you in the Netherlands? Are you full-time? Are you doing anything on the side at the moment?
Yeah, sure. So right now I live in the Netherlands. I've lived here all my life, and there have been periods where I was in different countries. So I was in Korea for a bit, but this year I stayed home all year. I think it's the first year since 2012 or 2013 that I stayed home all year. I just kind of enjoy life at home at the moment. So I don't know. I didn't really feel the need to go to Korea or to Taiwan or anything like that. So. Yeah, just in the Netherlands for now. I've been studying a little bit of math on the side, but not too much. Maybe like an hour a day or something like that. Yeah, just to keep everything up to date. And for the rest, yeah, just been playing StarCraft a lot of StarCraft.
For sure, we saw you in a couple of tournaments, obviously.
Hmm.
So, but you are basically committed to full-time pro gaming when I'm listening to that. Are you
Hmm.
doing math via email? Are you studying at the university or?
No, it's just like it's like the level between high school and university, basically, just to keep up a bit, to make sure I know, I remember most things, just to maintain my old levels that I used to have. So it's not that much, honestly. It's pretty fun to do. It improves pretty fast, and I do it from home. I just bought a couple of books, and it's just self-study basically.
Now I'm curious, what motivates you to do that?
StarCraft is a very hard thing to improve in. So even like you'll have absolute improvement all the time. So I can say with certainty that I'm better than I was last year or than I was 2 years ago. But because everyone else improves as well, sometimes it feels a bit frustrating to put a lot of time into something without improving in a relative sense. So like for example, I can play like 30 games a day for months straight, and at the end of the 6 month period in which I'd been doing that, I lose to more people than I won before. And with most other things, like maths, for example, that's not the case. Like if I can do a certain sum today, or I can figure something out today, I can still do it tomorrow. And you're always getting better. And because you're not really competing in the same way, it
Mhm.
feels very nice to get better at something as well every now and then. I like to have multiple balls in the air at the same time, so it always feels like you're improving at something.
Mm. Okay, that sounds yeah, understandable, especially because you have been playing StarCraft now for a very long time,
Hmm.
like you said. So you're not doing it with an end goal, like maybe at some point go back to university,
Well,
to, or yeah.
the end goal is there, but I mean it's not very concrete yet. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you are actually not that old.
No,
Um,
I'm not.
and when I was looking up some info about you, that was surprising for me because I have been following StarCraft for quite a long time since the beginning, and for me it feels like you have been around for ages, and like you are a very old hand, a veteran of our scene. And then I have to discover that you are like you're not young, but you're absolutely not old. So how does it feel for you? You have been so long in this game, Um, did you ever think about quitting?
Oh, sure. I think many, like every time you lose a tournament, like that, of course you think about it, but that it's always, or almost always, it's temporarily. You know, it's just frustration. I think when you quit, it should be a well thought out decision and not one made after a bad loss or something like that. So, of course, like there's been rough periods, but in the end, the fun always wins. So I don't know. I'm having a good time with it. So I don't really see a reason to stop playing.
Okay, cool.
And it's something actually about how long I've been playing. It's very funny because I used to kind of consider myself as a new guy for a very long time because when I think about the first generation of StarCraft 2 pro gamers, I think of Huck, TLO, the Muslim, White Ra, and I always felt like I came up in 2012 when I joined Fnatic, and I always felt like I was always the new guy there. But then after a while, like in 2015, 2016, you start realizing there's a completely new generation of players even after that, and then another one after that, and they're very good, all of them. And yeah, I'm actually one of the older guys right now, probably together with TLO and the Muslim, as I said, we're still playing. So it's a bit old, but especially because I don't feel very old at all. You know, I'm 23.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah. It's obviously because you started out young. After Warcraft 3, then you came to StarCraft 2. So one of the things that I think our community, or at least me, always connects to you is the Year of Harstem, and maybe one or two other memes. Does that ever bother you? I mean, does it ever irritate you that there's certain things connected to you, certain memes, certain stories? How does it feel for you?
It's I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. Sometimes the questions like will next year be the year of Harstem can get a little bit annoying, especially if you hear it a lot in a row. But I don't know. Like it's a part of me, and it helped me a lot as well. Like I think having things to be remembered by really helps create some kind of fan base around yourself. So it's very helpful for that. I don't know. Like I think it's done a lot more good than bad for me. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't want it to not be there. And then if every now and then you get a little bit bothered by it, well, you just got to take it. Like, not gonna complain about that.
Yeah. So at the moment, do you feel that you backed up your commitments that you made publicly, like exactly with the Year of Harstem, or so do you actually work with a goal in the sense of I want to reach BlizzCon, I want to win BlizzCon, or how do you approach it as a professional?
It's you have certain goals for yourself, of course, but I think the moment you start putting a lot of it is also that there's some luck involved, and sometimes things don't go the way you have planned. So it's very hard to say like I want to win BlizzCon because that's such an unrealistic goals. But of course you always have goals for yourself. But I don't think they're quite as big as that for me, at least. I tend to have more small goals, like I want to do well at this tournament, or I want to do well here, and I want to do this. I don't really look at BlizzCon like, oh, I really want to win BlizzCon. Of course, I would love to go there, but I'm not sure if I would define it as really a long-term goal.
Could you give us an idea what maybe one of the goals would be for you, just as an example?
Well, like I would do more like right before a tournament. Like I'll look at my skill level at the moment. I'm like, I think I would be happy with getting, like I could be content with myself with a round of 4 or a round of 8 finish here, just looking at my skill, because it's very hard to predict how good you're going to be in 2 months. Like the one goal that I have is that I always want to kind of play as well as I can, and I also want to practice as well as I can. And once I have these two things, I feel like there's not much else you can do. You know, if I spend 7 hours a day checking Reddit, like then I wouldn't be content with myself. But it's more the way I practice or the way I play at tournaments rather than really like, okay, I want to win this tournament. Of course, I want to win every tournament. I want to qualify for everything. Like that's just standard with any competitive player, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, I think I get an idea. So you break it down to smaller goals, and also more close to what's happening. In a sense, so when there is a qualification maybe coming up, you want to qualify. Yeah, and that type of thing. Okay, interesting. So you're also streaming. Would you say how do you balance that? Would you define yourself more and first as a pro gamer?
Player. Yeah, sure.
Player, not streamer. Yeah, streaming is nice at the side as a connecting with fans and
it's something I never enjoyed doing for a very long time, and then I started with it a couple of months ago, and I had a very good time with it. So I was like, well, I might as well make it something regular. And you get the practice during it. The practice isn't as useful exactly. Like you play a bit worse. Your main goal is basically entertaining people. But I don't know. I've been enjoying it, and it's been fun so far. That's really all I care about with the streaming, honestly. And it's not that hard to balance. Like there's a lot of hours in the day. Using a couple on streaming, I mean, could be worse.
It's doable. And
for sure.
One thing that I'm always curious about, and I try to ask that all the players, how does a typical Harstem-Day look like? I mean, today's Monday. How does a typical Monday look like for you?
Oh, today I actually woke up a bit later. Usually I go to the gym in the morning at like 9:30, and then I stream from 11 till 2. I have lunch, then I do some math, and then I play till dinner. Then after dinner I play more, and then at night I usually watch one episode of a TV show that I'm watching, and then I go to bed. Sometimes I'll go that's a Monday, I guess. Like in the weekend, sometimes I'll have like a birthday or something, but that's pretty rare. Like most of the time, I'm just playing StarCraft.
Yeah. And do you do the classic routine, playing some games, watching some replays?
Yeah. I like to watch replays very quickly after I play them, because you can. It feels very in StarCraft. It's very weird. You can learn something very fast sometimes, and sometimes it takes a very long time to improve something in your play. But watching replays from 2 or 3 days earlier almost always feels like kind of a waste, because you already learned so many small things that you're not doing anymore, that it feels like, well, like I wouldn't do this anymore, I wouldn't do that anymore, and then the game might have looked different. So when I'm watching replays, I tend to just watch them straight after the game. VODs, I watch a lot of VODs, a lot of personal streams of the Koreans, a lot of tournament games. Like I watch a lot of StarCraft as well.
Yeah.
Not a lot with the intention of entertainment, even though I do that as well every now and then. Mainly with the intention of trying to, get some extra knowledge.
Who do you learn most from in the last, let's say, 2017?
It's very hard to say. That's such a mixed bag. I think I watch a lot of stats, I watch a lot of Zest, but it's very hard to say who you learn the most from, because most of the time when you see something, you don't necessarily understand it. So to get extra insight, sometimes you need to talk to them, and I can't really talk with Koreans in that way. So maybe I've learned the most from Neeb and Showtime, but I think I've gotten the most information from Zest and Stats. But I wasn't capable maybe of using that information as well as I was with the information that I've gotten from the Europeans or the Americans.
Okay. Yeah, obviously the language barrier is always a problem, no? Even if you,
yeah. Not even necessarily there's the language barrier. It's also that it's kind of like worlds apart, you know. I'm not very close with any of the Korean protoses. So like they don't really have an incentive to help me either, and yeah.
Understandable. Yes. Okay. Thanks so much. We will take a short technical break, and then we will come back and talk obviously a bit more about StarCraft also.
Okay.
We're back in a second.